The mansion stood on a hill in Atlanta. White columns, polished floors, a fountain that never stopped. Inside, two golden-haired toddlers screamed every night. Nannies came, nannies left. Some lasted days, one quit in tears saying, "They're possessed." The millionaire parents were desperate. Then she arrived, a black woman. No fancy certificate, no accent, just a calm voice and hands that moved like water. That night the house was silent for the first time in years. And the next morning the mother found something impossible. The twins, hugging her. Not their own nanny. Her. She wasn't hired to heal, but she did. Her name was Nora Washington, born in rural Georgia, raised in a family of educators and preachers, people who believed in dignity even when the world denied it. Her skin was deep brown, her voice soft as velvet. But in the homes she worked in, she was often overlooked, not because she wasn't good, but because she wasn't light enough. That's the truth no one speaks. Colorism lives in silence. In the South, in the North, in black and white homes alike. The lighter the skin, the more welcome the smile. The darker the skin, the more invisible the heart. Nora had seen it all. She was passed over for promotions, called too serious, too quiet, but never not good enough, because her work spoke louder. She didn't cook just to feed. She cleaned to honor. She cared because she remembered being a child. When her grandmother said, "The world may not see you, child, but you see the world," and that's where change begins. When the call came from the Harringtons, a wealthy white couple with twin boys, 3 years old, impossible to manage, Nora didn't hesitate, not for the money, but because she heard something in the mother's voice, desperation, and she knew. Those boys weren't bad. They were hurting. She arrived in a simple navy dress, no makeup, hair in a low bun. The mother barely looked up. The father asked, "Have you worked with our kind of children before?" Nora didn't flinch. She smiled. "I've worked with children," she said. "All children." And then she walked into the nursery. The boys were wild, not from neglect, but from confusion. They'd been handed from nanny to nanny. No consistency, no real connection. They screamed when touched, refused to eat, and when Nora entered, they froze. Not because she was black, but because she was still. While others rushed, she paused. While others scolded, she knelt. She didn't speak at first. She sat on the floor, took out a wooden puzzle, began to place the pieces slowly. One twin threw it. She picked it up, placed it again, again, again. No anger, no reaction, just peace. By the third day, one boy sat beside her. By the fifth, both were eating at the table, watching her, learning stillness. But not everyone was happy. The housekeeper, a lighter-skinned woman from the Caribbean, whispered, "She's too dark for this house. They'll never accept her." The gardener joked, "Wait till they see her in the morning. All that brown in their white world." Even the mother at first called her the help, never by name. But then something changed. The boys began to sleep through the night. They started saying please. They drew pictures, not of their parents, but of her, a tall woman with braids holding a book. The mother asked, "How did you do this?" Nora looked at her. "You asked for a nanny," she said. "But they didn't need rules. They needed roots. Someone to show them love doesn't have to be loud. It can be quiet. and deep like a tree. The mother cried, not because of the words, but because for the first time her sons had said, "We want Nora, not Mama, not Daddy. Nora." Months passed. Nora became more than staff. She taught the boys African lullabies, read them stories of Anansi, of Harriet, of kings and queens their school books ignored. She didn't preach, she planted. And one day the older twin looked up and said, "Nora, your skin is like chocolate. I want to be like you when I grow up." The Harringtons planned a formal portrait. "Just the family," the mother said gently. "You understand." Nora nodded, went to her room, but when the photographer called the boys, they refused. "We want Nora," they said. "She's part of the family." The parents were stunned. The photographer waited. After 10 minutes of silence, the father sighed. "Fine, let her come." Nora returned, not in uniform, in a simple, elegant brown dress. She stood at the edge, but the boys ran to her, pulled her into the center, one on each side, arms wrapped around her waist. The photographer didn't say a word. He just took the picture, and when it printed, the mother hung it, not in the hallway, but above the fireplace, where everyone would see. Years passed. Nora stayed, not as a maid, as a guide, a mentor, a quiet force. When the boys started school, teachers said, "They're different. They stand up for kids who are picked on. They ask questions about Africa. They say, 'My Nora taught me that.'" The Harringtons offered her a raise, a bonus, a car. She refused. "I don't work for money," she said. "I work for what's right." Then one day she left, quietly, no farewell party, just a note. "They don't need me anymore. But other children do." Nora didn't retire. She opened a small center, Roots and Wings, for children with behavioral challenges. No fancy name, no investors, just love, discipline, storytelling. She taught them breathing, listening, the power of silence, and every child who walked in, no matter their color, was told the same thing. "You are not broken, you are becoming." The Harrington twins, now grown. One became a child psychologist, the other a teacher in a majority black school. On her 80th birthday, they visited. "You were our first real parent," one said. "You taught us how to love." Nora smiled. "I just showed you what was already in you." She passed in 2020. No obituary in the papers, but hundreds came to her service. Children, parents, teachers, and on the program, a quote she lived by. "The world may try to dim a dark flame, but the deepest light comes from the quietest fire." So ask yourself now, who in your life has been overlooked? Not because they weren't good, but because they didn't fit the light? What if the person you never noticed is the one holding the world together? This is the gentle flame, where quiet strength changes the world. Stay gentle, stay strong, and keep seeing. The flame never dies. It only waits to be seen.